Rabbi Friedman, hello. Thank God it's Tuesday. Surprise, surprise, surprise. So I guess these surprises are going to be coming at us. And of course, surprise of the week that I would like to get your opinion on. This week is all of a sudden Mockery of Christianity on the world stage during Olympics. What's going on with that? That is a big turn of events. Usually it's not Christianity that is being mocked, but yet now the world we live in, this is exactly what is happening. The Last Supper was recreated with transgender people.
Drag.
Yeah, I guess so. And a lot of that is happening during this Olympics. It's being very much presented to the world, and not just as a movement, but also something that is mocking Christianity. So how is this going to rock our boat? I mean, how do you think this is going to affect the world, or is it going to affect the world?
Well, another thing that is news lately, yesterday I think, suddenly Turkey is threatening Israel.
Yeah.
So the previous Rebbe, when he was asked if World War II was the war of Gog and Magog, the final battle before Mashiach, and the Rebbe said that battle is in the area of Turkey, not in Europe. Well, Turkey is getting involved. It's all coming together. It is also becoming really obvious that the only way Israel makes it through this ridiculous, impossible situation is miraculous. It would have to be. So stand by for miracles.
I'm going to ask something silly. What is the certainty in that? I mean, obviously, relying on miracles is a little bit puts us in a little strange position.
Somebody famous once said, "A Jew who doesn't believe in miracles is just not realistic." I mean, look at our history. Without miracles, we're not here. So miracles has been our norm, especially when doesn't seem to be any other possibility. I mean, the whole world is in such desperate state, such a really, really painfully sad, desperate state, and everybody's lashing out, not so much from deep, dark evil, but from frustration and confusion and just not knowing what to do with themselves. So a little wisdom would change everything. When the problem is confusion and lack of knowledge, well, then a little bit of knowledge would make a huge difference. May even solve the whole problem. So I don't think people have become more evil than ever. I think the opposite. So even those who are most evil, they're driven by confusion, by misplaced beliefs and trusts and convictions. Things are just wrong-minded, not evil intended. Well, I mean, of course, there are some heinously motivated people. A tiny minority. Most people just don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're doing. They don't know why they are. And that's become very painful. So what am I doing? What am I accomplishing? I got to do something. And in that desperation, you do stupid things.
Rabbi Friedman, the designer of the Olympics, he obviously, there was a lot of apologies over the way the world perceived it, even though I don't know what they expected, but the mockery of the Last Supper, I mean, during the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And he said, the designer said that what he tried to relay is solidarity, inclusivity, kindness, generosity, freedom to love, who you want to love, how you want to love. So the intention, it's you know, they're very surprised that it's been taken negatively because their intention obviously was a positive one, as you say. But it was mockery of religion.
Which they all they think that's positive too. Because who takes religion seriously anymore?
Those who
it's always been fashion.
Yeah.
Make fun of Catholics.
Really, I thought it was the Jews that usually was fashionable to make fun of, not Catholics.
Well, we're in first place, but coming in a close second. So it was considered cool, sophisticated to mock belief, to mock science, to mock religion. Anything you can't explain, you make fun of. Of course, there's so many things we hold dear that we can't explain. Those things you're not allowed to make fun of. So the confusion is just torturous.
Well, this obviously made people dig a little deeper, and I was one of those people, and I found out that according to the World Watch list of this year, 2024, 365 million Christians, which is 1 in 7 worldwide, experience high levels of persecution and discrimination for their faith. Didn't really know that. Thought that was a dominant, prominent religion that does not get prosecuted, but apparently that is not so. So who's the prosecutor?
It's not the Jews.
Not enough of us to prosecute.
And also, what does it mean, persecution? That's a big word. Microaggression, physical violence. What is the abuse exactly? That's a very large sliding scale of intensity. So yeah, Christians are and any religion is being targeted because we don't understand it, and we like to think we're in charge, which is really very funny. You know, it's like the secular, the humanist, the liberal believed that they're on top of the world. They've got everything under control. Religious people don't know what they're doing. They're blind faith. They're depending on something for some insecurity that they're suffering from or something. And the secular world's got it all together. They're healthy. They're happy. They know. That is not at all true. The amount of pill popping, antidepressants, and anti-anxiety, the secular world is out of control. The secular world is starting to admit that they don't understand anything, that nothing makes any sense. So I think it's time to stop mocking the religion that made no sense to you Nothing makes sense. So I guess as you lose your own sense of well-being, you got to blame or mock others who are maybe a little worse off than you. So scapegoating, passing the blame, but it's all going to end up in one huge conclusion. Maybe the Jews still know what this world is about. That's how it's all going to end up. And the world, with its religions, with its philosophies, with its policies, they're all going to turn to the Jewish people and say, what do you know? What do you know? What have you fought so intensely for 3,000 years to preserve and protect and remain loyal to? What is it that you know that we don't know? So I think we've talked about this a long time ago. There was a convention back in the 60s, I think. Convention of scientists. How do we go to the nearest star? Now that we've arrived on the moon, what would it take to get to the nearest star? 400 light years away. So they got together the best scientists in every field to discuss whether there is a possibility. Can it be done? And these brilliant scientists, each one in their field, came up with solutions to how it can be done. You create a little planet, you put a community of people on it, you send them off with instructions. The fourth or fifth generation will get there and do the research, gather all the information, and then make the return trip. So the great-great-great-grandchildren will come back and tell us what it's like on that star. Can it be done? They figured it all out. How to sustain this little planet, how to propel it, how to bring it back, how to keep it healthy, how to get rid of the garbage. That was a big question. At the end of the conference, they remained with one question. What guarantee do we have that the fifth, sixth, seventh generation is even going to believe that they're on a mission and that they should be returning to a planet called Earth? They're all born on this little artificial planet. It's all they know. To them, that is all of reality. There is no green planet. It's all fairy tales, Bubba Mises, and that they are the only people in the world, and there's no place to go. They're not coming from anywhere. They're not going anywhere. We are it. Make the best of it. So people said, keep a log, write it all down, put it all in writing. And others said, yeah, well, somebody's going to look at the writing and say, who made up this stuff? It's too fantastic. One scientist got up and said, I guess we're going to have to ask the Jews. How is it that after 3,000 years, they're still at their mission? With no divine intervention. Revelation at Sinai, and for 3,000 years they're on a mission. How did they do it? It's a good question, but it's also a ray of hope. The world knows that Jews are still in touch with the original purpose and intention of creation. And if you're miserable not knowing what that is, ask Jews. This is what all of this is building up to.
Still seems a little bit too far away, unfortunately. It would be amazing if we were already there, but it seems that people are still, definitely everyone started to look for God. That's without a doubt, but still their way, and that's how it's always been. And I don't know what would it take to change that.
It's actually a little surprising and maybe a little miraculous that people have not gotten there yet. The degree of desperation is pretty intense. Okay, so you pop some pills, but it takes the edge off. But it has to come to a boil. It has to reach some tipping point where pills are not enough, distraction, escapist entertainment, it's not working anymore. It could happen overnight because the conditions are there. We're just ignoring, making believe, turning away. So if it happens tomorrow, it would not be a terrible surprise.
Rabbi Friedman, the word on the street that people are using when they see what they see today, what they see during Olympic ceremonies in all sorts of forms are of entertainment. Anywhere there is a big stage and a lot of audience, people are saying they're seeing some sort of satanic rituals. That's the word in the street. I don't know. This is how it's being described in all kind of chats and not mainstream media, but sub-media. What do you think people are taking what they're seeing for? They're calling it satanic. Is it satanic? What is satanic? I'm not 100% sure what satanic means.
I'm not sure what it means either, but it's definitely a shirking of responsibility. If you can blame it on Satan, then we're all innocent. Nobody's fault. It's Satan. Satan is doing it. Yeah, well, what are you going to do about that? Yeah. So I don't know what Satan means. There is very nasty, unholy, vile kinds of, I don't know. Why would people do that? What do people get from this? They really believed it was hilariously funny? Strange sense of humor. But it does make people uncomfortable enough that they have to ask themselves, why am I offended? Do I really believe everything I was taught? Was the Last Supper really the Last Supper? Is anything true anymore? Is anything real anymore? If we were very confident, if Christians were very confident, they wouldn't be so offended or intimidated by this. If Muslims were more confident of the truth of their beliefs, why would they be so intimidated, so threatened by any comment, by any joke, by any cartoon, by anyone disagreeing? So it's not like we're being righteous. We're not even sure we should be. And that makes us even more upset. So what the Olympics did is actually challenging people who believe in Christianity. How deep is your belief? Are you really morally outraged, or are you frightened because your own faith is a little shaky? I see it going in a very, very focused direction. There seems to be a lot of different evil coming from all sorts of different places. It's all the same thing. It's a world suffering from dementia. So, we can stop making fun of everybody who trips or falls or stumbles or humbles or bumbles. It's all the same thing. Your mind is starved. It doesn't know what to think. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what's right. It doesn't know what to be angry about and what to be happy about. And that is so scary.
Rabbi Friedman, after all these events during Olympics, there's of course a lot of talk from different Christian and Catholic communities, and their explanation is that yes, the people don't understand what they're doing, but that they're possessed by some sort of evil. So is there any validity to that?
What is evil? Did some force take over their brain like a dibuk, and they're no longer responsible for what they think and say? No, that's a cop-out. It's very, very interesting that these religions have all tried to convince the world of how right they are and how true they are. It's safe to say that they all failed. Not everyone believes in Christianity. Not everyone believes in Islam. Thousands of years and not much progress. Jews have never tried to convince others. Maybe we should have, but we didn't. What happened was all these religions took concepts from Judaism, the bulk and the most basic principles, beliefs, stories, scripture. It all comes from Judaism. And using those ideas and those beliefs and those principles, religion has tried to control the world or influence the world. If you're ready to admit that you didn't succeed, doesn't it make perfect sense to say, where did we get these ideas from? From the Torah, from Judaism? Well, let's go back and see if there's more there. It's just so rational. Look at all the principles, all the valuable good stuff in the religions come from Judaism. Some of the innovations that are not from Judaism didn't do much good. Intifadas, celibacy, beheading, inquisitions, those additions to the Torah, not working. So, if all you know that is good and right comes from the Torah and from Judaism, come on back and learn some more. There is more that we can teach you. This is inevitable. I don't see how it can not happen. Just sit down and think for a moment. Everything good and positive and holy comes from the Torah. You want to embellish? You don't need to. Just read the rest. Monotheism comes from Judaism. 10 Commandments. The belief in a Mashiach, that the world will someday be perfect. All these great ideas come from Judaism. But you didn't go very deep. You didn't go very intimate. You just took a few ideas and ran with it, thinking you can change the world. And you did change the world. Christianity changed the world. Islam changed the world in some positive ways. But the ugliness and the damage kind of undoes all that progress. So I don't see how it's possible to avoid this conclusion, especially the United States. Everything good in the United States comes from the Old Testament. Everything. Every quote, every inscription. So, if that has been the best thing that the world has so far, come back for some more. There's more the Torah can tell you. That's what's happening.
Rabbi Friedman, it's definitely a very convincing and very right and very good message for the world to get, but we do have obstacles with some of our representatives. And we have some representatives of our religion that kind of push these thoughts away. How can we overstep that boundary?
That's a very painful and good question. Yes, we have been infected by some of these doubts and some of these philosophies and arguments, and we've certainly lost a lot of self-confidence. Even when we know what we know, we're convinced nobody else wants to hear it. So we have to keep it to ourselves. Terribly afraid to say, we know, come and we'll teach you. We're afraid to say it. We're damaged. But what we know is perfect. So, yeah, we have a lot of functional issues or dysfunctions, but we never compromise the Torah. We know it, it's intact, and we can teach it. Maybe we need some therapy to get our courage back. We need the Wizard of Oz to give us our brain back and our heart and our courage. But we know. The Torah has remained unscathed. So, if the Jew only had the confidence, maybe we wouldn't have gotten this verblunget. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten this confused. So yeah, we have to step up to our God-given mission. It's been dormant for a long time, but now that the world desperately wants it and needs it, we can't fail. That is not an option. That's a big obstacle to. Yeah, this is a big obstacle to overstep, especially in the world that is all about marketing, and also known as lies.
Yeah, for sure is. Absolutely. But how do we get the trust of the world after such not such great marketing that we've been getting and making, putting out?
I was just talking to someone who asked Okay, so we need to re-educate the world. You know how long that's going to take? Education is a slow process, painfully slow. But the good news is, truth is not a process of education. The way it works is, you discover the truth, and then you educate yourself about it. Education will not lead you to the truth. Education can confuse you, mislead you. But if you know what the truth is, and you educate towards that truth, then you've got a direction, you've got a plan, you've got a purpose, and you won't miseducate, misinform, as higher education in the world did misinform. So, truth is instantly recognizable, or it's not the truth. If someone speaks the truth sincerely, it is recognizable. It has a power and a magic of its own. You don't have to be convincing. You don't have to be charismatic. You don't have to be emotionally overwhelming. State the truth, and it will carry its own authority. People recognize truth. I don't mean honesty. Honesty is also a nice thing. But you can be honest about every foolish thing in the world. We're talking about truth with a capital T. What has always been true will always be true and can't be any other way. What? That's what we're calling truth. If you say it, if you reveal it, if you state it, you don't have to force people, you don't have to threaten people, and you don't have to bribe people. Say the truth, and it will set you free. Then you educate so that the truth becomes understandable, reasonable, internalized, part of your DNA. That's what's happening. So, will it take more than 15 minutes to simply say the truth? And to quote Hillel, the famous sage, this is the entire Torah. Now go study. But not study first in order to get to know where you're going. You know where you're going because you know the truth. And the truth deserves to be studied and familiarized with and internalized. So it's not going to take a long time.
Amazing, Rabbi Friedman. Extremely encouraging. I mean, realistically, I hope everybody got it, like I got it realistically for the first time, that this is not a long road. The truth is the truth, and there's nothing but the truth. And once everybody gets it, and everybody can get it really realistically in 1 second. So the way I've been presenting it, a one-liner actually, the whole truth in one line. God needs more than we need. If that resonates with you, you're on the right track. Everything else is commentary. Wow. Yeah, Rabbi Friedman, thank you for that education. You have been saying it for a long time, and you've been sticking with it no matter what, even though sometimes people who misunderstood that statement had a lot to say, and that does not faze anybody, because that is the truth. We're here for a reason, and we need to understand that we're not here for ourselves. And that message is absolutely priceless, and I hope everybody is hearing it and internalizing, not just hearing it. Thank you so much. Thank you for that message and for so many others that clarify the truth that hopefully everybody will see very, very soon, and that will make all the difference that we need. Thank you so much.
It's happening. It's not just a hope that it might happen. So we need to push it. We need to encourage it. We need to talk it up so that it happens a little faster. That's all.
And thank you for doing just that and for doing it here on our radio. It's absolutely priceless. Thank you.
You're the only one who invited me.
Thank you. That was the smartest idea God gave me in the world. Probably the entire point of my being. Thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of our entire community and everybody in the world, thank you for doing what you're doing and for bringing the message that you're bringing and for making things clear and simple to understand. Thank you so much for that. We look forward to more of your wisdom next week, I hope. Thank you so much.